Welcome back, everybody. Round 2 of some hot standard action on a cool Wednesday night.
It's not chilly tonight. It's
cool.
It's cool, but it has been downright cold previously.
Cool as a cucumber.
Is it cooler than
Merfolk Branchwalker is actually like
JD's bedroom? He keeps it chilly. I've been in hotels with this guy. Holy smokes! Bring a jacket.
Bring a jacket.
And some earplugs.
Some earplugs and a blindfold.
Found the best earplugs. If you're in the market for earplugs, look for these things called Heroes. The best earplugs ever. They're so comfortable. Like, normally I get a headache from like the internal pressure. These are nice. I can sleep all night in them. Comfy.
I don't think that's normal. Luke Browning on the blue-black control versus Erik Henderson, who was on Boros last week.
Yeah.
Now is on Grixis control. Offers the cut face up, just so there's no question about what he's on.
All right, well, I think you won.
I don't know how that was achieved, that die roll, but it was. And one player will go first, and another player will go second.
Concur. Eric comes to Magic via Hearthstone, actually.
Okay.
And he came to Hearthstone via WoW. You see the Path to Exile shirt. That's another...
Vladimos. Thank you for the subscription.
That's another multiplayer online game. It's reminiscent of Diablo 2, if you guys have played that one. So we're glad. I'm excited to have him because he's apparently a huge Hearthstone fan, and learning the Magic ropes. Started really last season and has improved quite markedly over time.
Quite markedly. Yeah.
So laughing because you don't, because you have four?
That's an interesting transition, and I think we're seeing a lot of that right now.
But if you thought my thought eraser, what happens then?
That's good. It's been. I mean, I don't think Magic has ever taken the role of the.
Couple lands and a thought eraser.
You've never been trying to get Magic players from other games. People have always been trying to get Magic players to play their game.
Right.
And so we're in an interesting spot right now with the way digital is versus analog. I think Magic's the best analog game.
Right.
But its digital presence needs to be improved, which it will over time here.
Yeah, Arena's a nice start.
Do you have an Arena account?
No.
You going to make one?
Sulphur Falls comes in tapped.
No.
All right.
So I've played Duels of the Planeswalkers before.
Yeah. Arena's different than that.
Right, I understand that. And I had fun like playing duels like on my mobile phone on lunch break or something like that, just to kinda get the fix in.
Yep.
And the fact that I can't do that on Arena is what's keeping me off of Arena right now. But if it ever goes mobile, I'll probably download it and mess around with it a little bit.
Here's why you're going to love Arena. Because you won't you don't start out with like a full-blown collection, and you can't buy specific cards.
Right.
The deck building is really interesting, and I think that lends to you have a real creative side for that. You seem to enjoy it, and I think you're gonna like that feature.
Yeah. There are times when I like it a lot. There are times when I just want to be able to like play the best deck. How about this? How about this one? You a big fan of this card?
I've had the limited decks with 2 of this card. That Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, I definitely just like sat around in my PJs and drafted. And disinformation campaign was high on my pick order by the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a strong card. It's a little bit of a build-around card in Limited, but here in Constructed, Surveil's just one of the best things you can be doing anyway, so you might as well keep on going.
Yeah, for sure. I would play that card with, if I was blue-black and I had, I don't think you can draft a blue-black deck with 0 Surveil in it, but I would play that card with, minimal Surveil.
Sure.
Obviously, the Surveil cards get better, I had one of those with the sprite thing, the 2-drop sprite that surveils. I ran that guy into the ground. Like, holy smokes, I won that match by a mile.
Oh yeah.
No. The mono blue one that you surveil every time it attacks.
Yeah, the surveilling sprite.
Is it called surveilling sprite?
No, that's another
Another
card
They really
that doesn't
somebody
surveil.
somebody
It
was
is a sprite.
somebody was in the naming meeting and they're like, oh, let's just call it surveilling sprite. And they're like, well, we kind of already shot that one in the foot. Sorry, friend.
I believe it was from the original Ravnica set too.
I'm gonna play Discovery.
He just pulled one up. I think it was from Innistrad.
No, pretty sure it's from the original Magic set.
Pull it up.
Pull it up.
Am I wrong? Click on that. Click on that.
I mean, it's just
There you go. Nice. Yeah, there it is. Ravnica. Perfect. Our spotter can like show us windows on his computer. So you guys couldn't see that, but we were just confirming. All right. And I think in this control mirror, disinformation campaign is just going to be awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, nice card in hand.
Yep.
Hope it's something you can cast
To counterspell my
or to kill.
Kobolas.
So here's the Nicol Bolas, dead, exiled even.
See
Not
what
in that graveyard, although it's in the graveyard currently.
what Eric could have done there is literally sit around and just keep recasting disinformation campaign
Right.
until Luke is in a position where Eric has enough land to cast disinformation campaign and Nicol Bolas in the same turn.
I think he just didn't want to discard a card.
Oh, I would have just cast the disinformation campaign instead.
Yeah. Doesn't help you not discarding, but
Oh, right, because it draws you a card, it replaces itself. Good card's good. Here he's going to counterspell and surveil. Keeps it there. Picks up the disinformation campaign. Untaps. Yeah, Luke, not going to win this one.
no, he's buried in card advantage at the moment.
Well, I think he's actually empty-handed with Eric with a full grip.
He just land go.
Well, you can't keep it. I mean, you know, he's going to get campaigned.
Yeah, absolutely. I was more referring to Eric's land go.
Oh, sure.
Dream Eater.
I believe you can get me through the fight.
All right, Surveil 4 is an absurd amount of Surveil to happen.
Yeah.
And then you can return a non-land.
Was this thing a mythic?
Yeah.
This thing beat me down in a sealed deck, and I was just like, oh, okay, you got the rare. It's a mythic.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure.
4/3 flash flying. Luke's seen enough.
Yeah, Eric's got all the 4-drop flyers in this deck. He's got ones with flash. He's got ones that become
Dream Eater costs
planeswalkers.
6.
Oh, did that cost 6?
Yeah, 4 and 2 blue.
Oh.
It would be a little obscene at 4.
It would be. Well, it's a mythic. I figured, I mean, it just, like, doesn't surprise me anymore how good the mythics are.
Like, it would be the best blue creature printed since Jace Vryn's Prodigy, maybe ever, if it was at 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
4,
it's just
Surveil
obscene.
4.
Yeah. So, Surveil 4, we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on stream.
No,
I
we
don't-
definitely had a discussion where we're like, okay, what does the XY graph look like if draw X equals
you were
surveil
talking
Y?
about graphs. We were talking about how much of a draw or surveil is worth.
Yeah,
And it's very close to 1.
really.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna. So I bought all these little notebooks for taking notes for our show.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take one of them and make it my draw surveil survey notebook.
Who are you going to ask?
Literally everybody. Like I can ask everybody that plays here.
So the more people you ask, the less accurate it's going to be.
That's not how data works.
That is how.
That is
This
that is
works.
not how data works at all.
That when you're asking
the more
opinions, that is absolutely how data works. If you ask more people who are less informed opinion, it makes your data worse.
so obviously my data is going to be best if I just take like Pro Tour competitors
Yeah.
or just like all right, Hall of Famers.
Let's just walk over to Subway and ask people as they come in.
No, I mean, I'm obviously, not going to ask, like, call my nephew and be like, hey, how many draws do you think one surveil is worth? Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying.
So,
that,
like, I'm obviously going to ask Magic players.
Right.
And maybe I'll send out an email to, like, every... if I send an email to... Craig Wesco would love this.
Yeah.
Like, if I send him an email, it's like, hey, man, will you forward this to as many pros, as many people qualified for the next Pro Tour as you can?
Yeah.
Like, I'll bet you I could send each one. I could send it to each team that I know of, and they'd get back to me. And just do it by team. Or, I mean, like, each team you send it to, you get 6 responses.
Right. We
Would
can
you
do a
trust
straw
that
poll
data?
from the Chat. How many people do we have in chat right now?
So here's the piece of data I really want to know. I want them to fill out Surveil 1 through 5, and how many draws each one of those are worth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you can
But it
use.
seems less relevant.
What do you mean? So I think Surveil 2 is closer to drawing 2 than Surveil 1 is close to drawing 1.
Oh, I think it's the opposite.
Okay. Like you said, the less informed people are, the worse the data gets. So Surveil 3 is further from Surveil 2, or further from draw 3 than Surveil 2 is from draw 2. Like the higher up you go, the less it's like drawing a card.
Yes, but it's not linear.
It's not linear. Okay. Yeah, I want to see what the average opinion is.
All right.
I think it'd just be a really interesting data
Being
set.
able to take away your opponent's next play is really fun.
Correct. Yeah, it would be pretty interesting. So, the reason that Surveil 2 isn't as good as Surveil 1 when compared to Draw 2 versus Draw 1 is that when you draw 1, you're just replacing the card in your hand, which is a very good effect. Cantrips are very good. But fixing your next draw or putting a card in the graveyard, which is a resource in of itself, is very close to just replacing the card. But when you draw 2, you get the dig effect of Surveil plus your +1 card in hand, which even if the card even if it's a land and the land's not relevant at that point in the game, it's still information that your opponent doesn't know, so it holds value as well.
Sure.
And then the same goes for Draw 3 versus Surveil 3. When you get up to Draw 4, the difference between Draw 2 and Draw 3 is more than Draw 3 and Draw 4, just because, like, obviously drawing 4 is an absurd number, but at some point, like, you can't draw 4 forever, or you're just going to start discarding cards, and you lose some value that way.
Sure.
Straw
So
poll up. Everybody vote. I don't know what the straw poll looks like.
Oh, okay. How many Surveil triggers equals draw 1 card?
Okay.
Sure. It does not equate at all as a strong box to have on your straw poll.
Yeah, if you check that box, you need to check yourself.
Quick rundown on how to sideboard control matchups. So what you want to do is you want to take out
Your irrelevant cards.
your irrelevant cards. Sure.
And put in
You want to put in negates.
more relevant cards.
More relevant cards. I'm also way more likely to have high cost cards in my deck after sideboarding, because all you want to do is draw and play land
Yeah.
for the longest possible time. Here's a duress. We're looking at 3 lands: the Eldest Reborn, Vraska's Contempt, and Cancel, but it's a different sabotage. It's called Sinister Sabotage.
Cancel.
It's Cancel Surveil 1. Just straight up better than Dissolve.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far. It is better than Dissolve.
There's another data set.
That's tapped. Go ahead.
Surveil versus Scry. Just not comparable. They're 2 different things.
I mean, they're comparable. It's just so Surveil's almost always better, and that's all there is to it.
Sure.
Like, I don't think you need a lot of data on that one.
Yeah, so I guess adding another... Oh, interesting. So Luke brought in this guy, which is going to give him some card advantage. And it looks like Eric's not going to have the...
He doesn't have any black mana.
Yeah, he can't cast Vraska's Contempt for at least 2 more turns. So he's going to take some hits here.
And it's the cards, not the hits, that are going to hurt.
Yes, concur.
Eric showing up with his Grixis deck and his Bolas sleeves.
Yeah, man. Telling him what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, Luke wants to be careful to not flip this.
Yeah, don't do that, Luke.
Bolas.
Don't do that. So these things that are creatures that become planeswalkers, they exile, and they come back into play under their owner's control.
I don't think we had the double black for that Vraska's Contempt, but...
And if I could, I'd go back to you.
I would concur.
Oh, was it double black?
Slappy.
Not. My bad.
Sloppy, sloppy,
Alright,
sloppy.
can't cast that spell.
Thought erasure then?
You can cast this one, though.
Yeah. This is the one where he gets to Duress and Surveil 1. It's not Duress, it's better than Duress. It's any non-land.
Yeah, I think
So you
we
can get
wanna
creatures.
Take the Dream Eater here. Oh, we're taking the Vraska's Contempt. I don't know that he had anything that was contemptible. And I think he has another Thought Erasure in hand, so...
Sure. Yeah, showing some contempt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would have taken the Dream Eater there. Because you're not going to want to Thought Erasure again next turn. And you see that he drew the land. Oh, wow.
Also, both the players kept in their Dream Eaters. This makes the control matchup interesting because you got to keep in some number of removal spells.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play the Eldest Reborn?
And you're seeing here how quickly the Dream Eater gets out of hand. Here's the Eldest Reborn, I think. Oh, it's just slightly off our screen.
Go ahead.
Luke decides to sacrifice the the Kobolds that isn't his.
Yeah, these 2 creatures are going to draw him 2 cards, basically.
Right. Pretty nice. Harkens back to the Night Veil Spectre from the second time we went to Ravnica.
Feels
Yeah,
more
you
like a Gonti.
Second trigger.
Yeah, it feels very Gonti-ish. Gonti's enters the battlefield trigger, so he won't. It's not like that. I mean, Night Veil Spectre because you get to do it over and over again.
Right.
And then what's the other card? I want to know what that other card is real bad.
So the difference with Night Veil Spectre is you get to cast this with mana as though or any cost.
Yes, Night Veil Spectre requires you to hit a bunch until you hit one of their lands, so you can play their spells.
Play my only Kobolas.
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
What are these? What are these guys called? Thought devourers? Thought
How about Thief of Sanity?
thieves
Thief?
of sanity.
Yeah, you got it.
And cast that card. So if you do hit all lands with the Thief of Sanity, you won't be able to play it. So 1/1 here. Eric's looking through. He did mulligan, and I guess he took a.
So this is the problem inherently with 3-color decks in this format, especially if you're trying to cast spells like Vraska's Contempt, which have a double color requirement.
Yeah, Vraska's Condemned and Sinister Sabotage. It's double
Right.
blue on 3, double black on 4.
So double blue in a Grixis deck is going to be a lot easier to cast than double black in a Grixis deck, just because of the number of shock lands that we have.
So we got blue, red, blue, black. Oh, we don't have Blood Crypt right now.
Right.
Okay.
And even if we did, I don't know that you run around 12 shock lands in a control deck. That's kind of asking to get run over.
12 Shocklands, 12 Buddy Lands? Bring it on. I'm happy. Let's do it.
I wouldn't be happy with that.
Well, all right. So I'd probably play like a Naya aggro deck with that configuration and love it. Be real excited about it.
Depends on what's in the deck.
Knight of Autumnum.
Yeah, Knight of Autumn's a great one. One that I think is worth splashing for.
Yeah.
But it kind of, in a lot of these Golgari lists that we saw, they run the main deck Assassination Trophy instead, or Assassin's Trophy, whatever it is.
Yep.
Instead of splashing for the Knight of Autumn, which, given the consistency of the mana base, might just be the right call.
Mm-hmm.
But having access to the enchantment removal to get rid of the removal that is an enchantment coming out of a lot of the control decks is pretty solid. Definitely worth main decking.
Yeah, for sure. So while we got the pile shuffle here, I'm going to remind everybody
Solid piles.
that we are not only John and I are at GameSwap Mason, but Top Deck Productions is sponsored by GameSwap Mason. Magic's played here 4 nights a week. Tuesday and Thursday we play Modern. Wednesday and Friday we play Standard. And on Friday night there's Friday Night Magic Draft, Standard, and Modern. They play all 3 of the most popular formats out there. And their selection of singles is very deep. They've got promos going all the way back to the original days of F&M. And if Magic is not your favorite game, it's just one of the many games you play, they've got a ton of board games, card games, and there's video game setups in the back. They have all kinds of retro video gaming.
Play for their showdown packs today.
So look it up, GameSwap Mason. 1065 Reading Road, Mason, Ohio. This is just north of our 275 Loop Highway.
Pretty good one.
So pretty accessible from almost anywhere in the city.
Anywhere in the world, really.
Yeah, it's almost equidistant between Dayton and
Cards that went up, so
Cincinnati airports. So you could fly into either one of them, drive about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and arrive here at GameSwap Mason.
Bunzilla, yeah, we got a deck list
Oh, yes.
for Clayton's deck. The 4-color deck. We got it.
4-color bugler.
Yep, I got one for you.
We got it.
they don't have to buy any of them. And
We'll
I told him it was
we'll
like-
put it up wherever we put up deck lists. Wherever deck lists are found. Top Deck Productions, your location for the finest deck lists.
Well, she is now. She was like 10.
The finest deck list, including militia buglers.
I'll give you that one.
Good luck to you.
I do love the. I didn't realize the Aurelia interaction until, watching tonight, and pretty excited about it.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see. We do not have a keepable seventh player.
I got 2 thought erases.
Or Luke. We're going back to 6s.
We'll back to 6. Would you keep 6 lands in this matchup?
No.
All right.
Would you?
Discard and
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess you're gonna get run over by
Literal anything.
thieves. I'm just afraid of that thief. I want thief protection.
The first card you draw, guaranteed to be
Thief.
either removed or countered.
Yep.
Because you're not going to be able to apply any pressure, you're not going to be able to protect anything. Card advantage is the name of the game here, and lands in hands, while they do count as kind of this hypothetical card advantage,
Right.
don't do much in a counter war, so definitely want some gas.
But it works out pretty well.
The game is going to be all about hitting your land drops, but
the shots.
that's not all there is to it. So let's see if this is a better 6. We've got 2 lands, it looks like. He's going to keep it.
We're gonna scry. Keep it on top.
Hopefully that's a land on top.
See at least 1 land in Luke's hand.
He's scrying as well. This one at the bottom might be rough. He's going to need to hit some lands. Maybe.
I see a forest and a swamp and an island.
Oh, and he draws one off the top. Very nice.
Very nice. Lets it come into play tapped. Very nice.
There's a steam vent. No pressure here to put it into play untapped. Looks like he draws a Sulfur Falls. Plays the Drowned Catacomb. We're going to keep playing lands out. And here's the Thief of Hope. And there goes the Thief of Hope. I believe it was Essence Scattered. Couldn't really see. Just kind of flew to the graveyard, which is off screen.
That's okay. So, I think there's levels to the game. I think
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's levels
to
to Magic the Gathering.
well, to the match that we're looking at right now.
Takes the Bolas. Heads up play, because that Bolas is coming down next turn. Go on. What are these levels?
I think so. There's like turn 2 Thought Erasure to protect your turn 3 Thief. Is like, I mean, that's like the ideal hand
On the play, yeah.
on the play. So then you have to like ask yourself like, how do I figure out hands that can beat that? That was some sort of. Is that an Essence? Did they put new art on Essence Scatter? No.
I don't think so.
Doom Whisper.
Do we have 2 black?
There's a Doom Whisper. Yeah, Luke went for the Twilight Prophet. It got countered some way, somehow. Couldn't really tell.
Doom Whisperer, he's gonna pay 2 life to scry 2.
Surveil, sir.
Surveil 2. I'm sorry.
Thief of Hope and Duress on top. Do we know what the last card in Eric's hand is?
Oh, interesting. He chooses to keep the Thief of Hope.
Combat.
Thief of Hope is relevant. So Luke has to deal with this Doom Whisper at some point,
Right.
and when he does, Eric can just slam his Thief of Hope.
After combat.
Right, and get right back into the
Or
game.
he can
Or
just slam it now.
just
Go ahead.
Eric is
slam a jamma.
creeping on that halfway marker.
Yep.
Thief of Sanity. yeah.
Sanity. Thief is something. Thief of Hope, I think, is the Eldrazi.
No.
No?
Nope. It's a spirit with Soul Shift 2.
Are you being serious?
Dead serious.
I'll go to combat. Yep. For 8.
One of my favorites.
Oh, jeez, you're right. Wow. I can picture the art now. Yep.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be an Eldrazi with all those little tentacly arms.
Sure. I'll give it to you.
He could join the Eldrazi tribe.
I have an island that
I was thinking of the Drowner of Hope, which is an Eldrazi.
Cannot play that land.
Nico Bolas.
So let's make sure he does not.
Go ahead.
Man, and this is a board state. You can't
Yeah,
really come back from.
Luke has hit all his land drops.
Yeah, but didn't get those relevant cards, which is kind of what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I guess he can't.
Let's reveal
Yeah, there's no comeback to be had here. I guess he needs a Vraska's Contempt. And I don't think even that'll save him because he's got...
Yeah.
All right, so he waits for the end of turn surveil.
Oh,
Oh, and he does have the Vraska's Contempt. Putting him up to 10. And Erik didn't surveil again.
Any cards in hand?
I would have surveilled repeatedly.
Yeah, I would probably go down to about 8.
Yep. Works.
But you're attacking for 6.
Yep. 6.
So Luke has... Yeah, and you're getting a card off of Luke's library, so I'm not too bent on surveilling to my death there.
Yep. Go ahead. Oh, it stays right.
All right, not to be a tryhard here, but here's something I will not put up with in this format. Them taking the card out of my library and putting it into their hand as if it's one of the cards in their hand. No.
Yeah, that's totally a reasonable thing to do.
Okay, is that a tryhard? That's not tryhard?
No,
That's
you don't
what-
want to mix zones, and that's definitely mixing zones. Somebody does that. I wonder if you could call a judge and say that they can see it because they combine 2 zones.
Interesting.
Not sure. Obviously, that's shooting some edges there. I
An
guess
angle?
Luke is not at 4.
I'm
oh, he's at 6. Okay.
I've definitely played some
At the end of your turn, all the press is attempted. And then you will...
definitely played some angles for myself.
And that'll do it. So Erik takes this one down 2-1. Grixis control over blue-black control. I don't think the red necessarily got him there. We didn't really see him play anything that was red other than Nicol Bolas, and
It really feels
honestly, having the diluted mana base cost him game 2. So I'm not sure that this is advocating playing Grixis over blue-black, but you know what? Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the Nicol Bolas, but I don't know how much red. Like, so I think you can straight up replace an island with a with steam vents. I mean, there's a cost, obviously. I'm not saying there isn't, but like, you know, it's not going to prevent you from having island when you need it.
Right.
Outside of that one replacement, I don't know how much red you can add to the mana base realistically to like try and, you know, get that in there.
Yeah.
I didn't see any Grixis in my research. The 3-color deck that I came across the most was Jeskai Control, topping off into the Planeswalkers Teferi and is it Rouse Erik?
Really topping off into that X draw spell.
Oh sure.
The draw X, deal X damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that card is beating at instant speed. Come on.
I think the
We
mana is
have,
pretty
we
good.
Right?
have shock lands
It's
now,
real
so-
good.
Yeah, you know.
Do you think it's as good as Sphinx's Revelation?
It's as good as Sphinx's Revelation, but not as good in this format as Sphinx's Revelation was.
Was it its own format, right?
Yeah. Very strong.
Well, there is a fair amount.
The
of
other
access,
things I found,
so fetches,
lots of the green-black
shock lands is good.
Planeswalker and or just straight up explore creatures,
Yeah.
and
So I think the Explore shell for Golgari is
pretty
kind
set
of-
in stone.
Yeah, I think that's the one you want to be on, and then what you supplement that with is your choice now.
Okay. Whether you go with the
Played against
Planeswalker
Selesnya,
finish
though,
or,
rips Selesnya.
you know, some number of creatures,
So,
like bigger creatures. I guess you could play the demon.
so you're always going to play like a couple of Planeswalkers. Probably always going to have an Azoni at least in the deck. Maybe up to 3.
Negate due time. Actually, the
You
only
could
red I have
throw
in
in
this
some
deck is
Doom
Bolas.
Whisperers. Doom Whisperers obviously a very solid card. But the real card that can get interchanged there is the engine of either Finality
Isn't that great?
or Gruesome
Are you running
Menagerie.
3 dress?
Right.
Or you can go up on Eldest Reborns and Golgari Find Brokers.
Sure.
I have 4 rituals.
There's a lot of Golgari engines, and they're all pretty good. All worth exploring at least.
Demise.
there's one really interesting list that they used Karn in their Planeswalker package. He's a little bit more cost effective than the Veraskas and the Vivian Reed.
Right.
So coming down a turn earlier,
I see him replacing the 4-mana Vraska a fair amount. How many Chevelle triggers equals draw 1 card? We got a couple votes for 1.5, a couple votes for 2, 1 for 3, and 1 for does not equate at all. Come on, man. They clearly equate to each other.
yeah, you clearly can, you know, they're like apples and oranges. Fruit can be compared.
Don't make a habit of comparing fruit.
The most interesting list I saw
Oh, we got an interesting one.
was there was back in the olden days there was a deck called Elf Ball, which played a bunch of mana elves and Fireball. So there's a bunch of mana elves.
Glimpse of nature.
Sure, I guess the eventual list played Glimpse of Nature. Elf Ball was a thing like in old school Magic.
Oh, so old school Magic, that was the Intruder Alarm deck, right?
No, I'm talking before this. I'm talking about like the original Borders. You know, like old school stuff.
Yeah, Intruder Alarm had original borders.
I'm talking like Legends.
Legends Elf Ball.
Yeah.
All right, go on. Tell me about
Anyway.
your legendary Elf Balls.
No, like Legends the set.
Oh.
What are you talking about? You knew what I was talking about, you butthead.
I know absolutely what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're just being a butthead.
Yeah,
Um,
as I want to do.
the Fireball in Standard right now is called Banefire, and it is uncounterable if you get it above 5. So there was an Elf Ball deck that 5-0'd a daily on Magic Online.
Okay.
So I don't always take these 5-0 lists as like, oh man, this is the best deck, but it's a great place to harvest some starting points.
Right.
So I found that one was interesting. Do you care about any of this other data?
I love data. So just spray those numbers all over my face. Let's go.
Here we are. So coming up, we have a lot of decks that are really revolving around the Flower and Flourish split card.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
Almost all of your Selesnya decks definitely are like 4 of those, 1 planes, and then Temple Gardens and.
How many decks that you saw ran both Flower and Flourish and the creature, the 3-mana guy, Civic Wayfinder, wannabe?
Oh, the I wrote down. Oh. Yeah, I know what card you're talking
District
about.
Guide. There he is.
District Guide. Jeez, man, I'm glad we got a spotter out there because we cannot come up with card names for crap.
Listen, it's a new format, a lot of new cards, a lot of cards in this new set making a huge splash.
Yes. Do you think the newest set? Do you think Return to Ravnica is the most powerful set in Standard right now?
Game 1 and 3, I didn't really get to play.
No.
I drew like 3.
All right. Do you have any votes for what is the most powerful set in Standard right now?
So I don't think there's a card in Guilds of Ravnica that's on the power level of Teferi.
Okay, concur.
And Dominaria also brought us like Lyra and Cast Down. It's a very powerful set.
Yeah, History of
reason-
Badalia.
Yeah, the reason we're seeing so many Guilds of Ravnica cards is because it's a new format. Everybody's trying different things, and we've had a lot of time to try out all of like the Dominaria, Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan cards.
Yep.
So we kind of know what works and what doesn't work from those sets and how they kind of mash up together.
Yep.
So the big thing that's being explored right now is the Guilds of Ravnica cards.
Yeah, also, when the format shrinks, you have to bring in the new cards
Right.
to fill in where those old cards sat. So you got to really diversify to get a complete deck.
Yeah, I agree. It is a powerful set. I just don't think it's as powerful as Dominaria.
Yeah, I definitely would say that Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan is the least powerful portion of Standard right now.
Right.
I think it's going to be dominated by Dominaria and Guilds of Ravnica.
Um,
Prepare to be wrong. I've been told to be wrong.
you're gonna be wrong, but that's life, man. Sometimes you're wrong. So you're gonna see a lot of these cards from all over the place. Like all the Explorer creatures are from Ixalan,
Yep.
and so that's nice. But what makes the Explorer shell powerful are the engines that were introduced in the new format or in this new set, in Fine Finality and Gruesome Menagerie.
Yep.
So
Lots of interesting things to come.
yeah, not M19. M19's not going to be the most powerful, but you know what?
It's got some role players.
Doesn't have to be.
Got some role players.
It certainly does.
I'm gonna play the guy. I guess that's from Guilds of Ravnica. Never mind.
All right, so we're going to shut up. We'll shut up here for about 10 minutes, and we'll be back.
We're gonna see how our friend Justin's doing.
Yeah, we're going to see how Justin's faring. We'll put him on next round, see how it's
Yeah,
going.
probably.
And then if he wins the next round, we'll, of course, put him on for the last round to see if he can retain.
Man, if he retains, I'll be very excited.
Yeah, that's an exciting time.
All right. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Promise.